It's discombobulating. It's discombobulating. Guys, it's discombobulating. It's discombobulating. Everything's on the verge of a total discombobulation, in my opinion, of course, because this is just my shticklach, right? It's all about the shticklach. But anyway, you guys, let's talk about it. Is it discombobulating? It's discombobulating. New York Post. Foreclosures continue to surge. Are they a threat to the housing market? Are they smear, you guys? I think it's discombobulating. So I'm gonna have to shiver for the housing market. Alright, so let's read the summary. Are you ready to be scared?
The article discusses the recent surge in foreclosures in the U.S. Key points include: foreclosure notices in Q3 jumped 34% from last year to nearly 125,000, returning to almost pre-pandemic levels. About 1 in every 1,121 properties had a foreclosure filing in Q32. Foreclosures are rising due to the expiration of foreclosure moratoriums put in place during COVID 193. Despite the rise, experts don't foresee another foreclosure crisis like the one in 2008. This is due to safer mortgages, stricter lending standards, and a strong housing market with more buyers than homes for sale. New Jersey had the highest foreclosure rate among states, and Houston had the highest rate among metropolitan areas. Foreclosure rates fell in some areas, including Salt Lake City and Chicago.
Alright, so let's ask another question. What are the key factors that drive the housing market down? Because we are establishing the foreclosures, so let's dive deeper into the issue.
There are several key factors that can drive the housing market down. Unsustainable price rises. When home prices rise quickly in a short span without a similar increase in wages, it's an alarm bell. Such discrepancies are often precursors to a correction. High inventory, slower sales. A market that's saturated with homes sitting on the market for long periods signals waning buyer interest. Rising mortgage rates. A sudden rise in mortgage rates can discourage new buyers, thereby reducing demand. Currently, mortgage rates are nearing 8%. Larger economic indicators. The success of the housing market is dependent on the economy being healthy in general. A larger economic downturn. Rising unemployment rates and decreased consumer confidence play pivotal roles in housing crashes. Housing supply. An increase in housing supply can also drive prices down. Affordable housing. Lack of affordable housing can lead to a decrease in demand, thereby affecting the housing market. Please note that these factors can vary by location and other global influences. It's always important to consider the local, regional, national, and global context when analyzing the housing market.
My friends, are you getting scared yet? Are you scared yet? Alright, let's pose another question. Because it's very important. Alright, so let's pose the question regarding the debt market.
The debt market can have a significant impact on the housing market. Here are some ways how. Interest rates. The debt market can influence interest rates. If interest rates rise, mortgage rates typically follow. This can make housing less affordable, as higher mortgage rates increase the cost of borrowing, thereby discouraging potential buyers. Economic disruption. Any major disruption in the debt market can have significant repercussions for the housing market. It can chill sales and raise borrowing costs. Just when the market is beginning to stabilize and recover. Debt default. In the event of a U.S. debt default, it could trigger chaos throughout the world market, which would be worse than the 2007-08 crisis. This could lead to a sharp drop-off in home sales, higher mortgage rates, and disappearance of popular government-backed loans. The pain would be shared among homebuyers, sellers, landlords, and renters. Housing affordability. If the federal government defaults, it's unclear who gets paid and who doesn't. About 500,000 jobs could be lost, according to the White House. If the standoff between Democrats and Republicans isn't resolved quickly, about 8.3 million could be out of work as a result. The longer the impasse drags on, the more damage is inflicted on the economy and the real estate market. Home prices could fall, sales would likely dry up, and the housing shortage could worsen. It's important to note that these are potential scenarios and not certainties. The actual impact would depend on a variety of factors including policy responses, market conditions, and more.
I don't know about you guys, but I'm getting scared. I'm getting scared! Guys, are you having fun? Let's pose another question, because it's all about questioning. Let's discuss the impact and the effect of Treasury yields, because that's also important too.
Rising Treasury yields can have several negative effects on the housing market. Higher mortgage rates. The 10-year Treasury yield affects 15-year mortgages, while the 30-year yield impacts 30-year mortgages. An increase in Treasury yields can lead to higher mortgage rates, making housing less affordable. This can depress the housing market as potential buyers may have to settle for smaller, less expensive homes. Increased borrowing costs. Higher Treasury yields mean higher borrowing costs. This can affect consumer spending and investment, slowing down economic growth. For American consumers, an elevated 10-year Treasury return means more costly car loans, credit card rates, student debt, and more expensive mortgage rates. Decreased home affordability. U.S. mortgage rates recently hit their highest level in 21 years. And home affordability is now at its lowest level in several decades due to elevated 10-year Treasury returns. Impact on renters and homebuyers. Higher interest rates could price would-be homebuyers out of the single-family housing market, causing them to remain renters for longer. It's important to note that these are potential scenarios and not certainties. The actual impact would depend on a variety of factors including policy responses, market conditions, and more.
So, are we scared yet? Alright, my friends, let's sum up this video. So, let's pose the final question.
The current health of the housing market is challenging. Here are some key points. Affordability. The U.S. housing market is historically unaffordable. With the average 30-year fixed-rate loan currently at 7.63%, it now requires a monthly principal and interest payment of $2,528 to afford a median-priced home with a 20% down payment. This is up 91% from 2 years ago and an increase of $1,204 a month. The monthly payment on an average-priced home now requires 40% of the median household income, making housing the least affordable it's been since 19.84. Sales and inventory. Home sales and inventory remain low. Existing home sales are down 16.6% from last July, and total housing inventory is 14.6% lower compared to a year ago. Home sales just hit a 13-year low. Mortgage rates. Mortgage rates are nearing 8%, and prices have climbed for the past 3 months straight. There were fewer homes on the market in September than any September ever. Future predictions. Prices are expected to stay high. Inventory is expected to stay low and rates may climb even further. The housing market is expected to continue to cool down in the coming months. as rising mortgage rates and inflation make it more expensive to buy a home. In summary, it's a tough time for would-be homebuyers, and this situation is not expected to change soon.
So, there you have it, my friends. According to that article that we just read, it's very challenging at this point. And, yeah, that's all she wrote. And, the Dow Jones, in my opinion, is discombobulating. It's discombobulating. The ultimate question is, will the Dow Jones break below this Fibonacci line of 33,001.36? It's very close to that Fibonacci line of like retracement or whatever the hell they call it. Anyway, it's at that Fibonacci line of like support. So yeah, let's see what happens. Previous Fibonacci line, found support here, came back up. Will it retrace below this Fibonacci's previous support line? I don't know, you guys. All I know is that, yeah, keep stacking and snacking. It's all about snacking. And yeah, that's all she wrote, my friends. That's all she wrote.